These are the parts needed for the installation of your kit. Your kit also includes spare cables and an instruction manual. The spare cables are for annual maintenance. In this video, we will be installing the SAFEDRIVE Pro Plus on a 2008 Toyota Highlander. The first step is to reveal the firewall behind the brake and gas pedals so you can determine the proper installation for the quick connects. We will be installing one behind the brake pedal and one behind the gas pedal. The cable will be anchored to these connection points and must be solidly screwed into the firewall. This is why it is important to remove any foam or insulation and make sure you are mounting these brackets on a solid metal base. Once the firewall is revealed, we will determine the best locations for mounting the quick connect brackets to the firewall. This floor is one of the more challenging as it is not flat. We may need to use the optional offset mount kit to correctly position the quick connects. If we were unable to mount the quick connects directly to the firewall in the correct location, using the offset mount kit will help work around obstructions. By attaching the quick connect to the offset mount, we can screw the offset mount into a solid firewall location and present the quick connect in the optimal location. Additionally, we could use the horizontal bar to position the quick connect needed for the gas pedal. Step 2. We are going to need to route the cables and conduits from the right side of the vehicle where the SAFEDRIVE pedals will sit to the left side of the vehicle near the vehicle's pedals. Before we do this, we need to prepare the cables for routing by removing the brake pulley mount and the gas pulley mount from the ends of the conduits. If we do not need to go through the center console or have ample space to get the cables under it, we won't need to remove the pulley mounts. To remove the pulley mounts, we first remove the two nuts that hold the pulley mount onto the black cable conduit. Do not lose any of the nuts as we will need them to reattach the pulley mounts later. Step 3. We are going to place the SAFEDRIVE pedals into the passenger side footwell, but we won't mount them at this time because we may make adjustments to the location in later steps. Next, we need to route the cables from the passenger side to the driver's side. We have taped the leading edge of the cable to prevent them from fraying or snagging while routing them. We need to find a path through the center console. Typically there is a lot of empty space inside of it, and the covers can be unclipped to allow you easier access to a path. Once we identify a path, we begin working the cables through the console. We're trying to find as straight as a path as possible. It may be helpful to have someone on the other side to help guide them through. Once through, gently pull them the rest of the way. We don't need to pull out all the slack on the lines. Pull just enough to have enough slack to reattach the pulley mounts. Now we are going to attach the pulley mounts. This is the brake cable, which is thicker. The thinner one is the gas cable. This is the brake pulley mount, and this is the gas pulley mount. It is helpful to leave a nut on each end of the conduit. You will now take the cable and slide it through the first hole, and then before you go through completely, put the nut in the cable and slide the cable all the way through. It should go in between the two pulley wheels. Then you just slide the mount up and fasten that bottom nut in. Then take the nut that was already on there and use that to adjust the gap. You want a small gap between as shown. Then hand tighten the nuts down. Do the same thing for the gas pulley mount. You want to make sure the cable goes out through the two pulley wheels, and then just fish the cable through, and then just fasten this bracket onto the conduit. Finally, use a wrench to securely tighten the bolts. Double check to make sure you use the thicker cable for the brake and the thinner cable for the gas. Step 4. We are now going to mount the brake pulley mount to the vehicle's brake pedal arm. You can remove one of the black bolts so you can test fit it and get a good sense of how you want it arranged. Normally, we would place the pulley mount on the left side of the brake pedal arm, but it looks like our quick connect bracket would need to go somewhere near that white adhesive, so we may have an issue mounting the quick connect there. In this case, we flip the pulley mount to the other side of the brake pedal arm, making sure the conduit is still coming in from the front of the brake pulley mount. This allows us to mount it to the quick connect somewhere in this nice flat solid location, which is the ideal location for it. Step 5. Next, we are going to thread the cable through the opening on the bolt of the quick connect bracket. Make sure the cable goes in between the two copper washers. Doing this will help us figure out the proper alignment for the quick connect bracket. Positioning the quick connect to align with the pulley mount is one of the most important steps of the entire installation. To get the proper alignment, observe your vehicle's brake pedal movement back towards the firewall. Imagine where it would hit the firewall if it could be pressed all the way down. This is the best location for the quick connect. The cable coming out of the black conduit should come straight out. It should not bend around the pulley wheel in the pulley mount or bend severely to the left or the right. You do not want the quick connect bracket to be too low or too high or too off to the side, because when your vehicle's pedal is pulled towards the quick connect, you want it to be pulled in the same direction that your pedal normally swings. A good way to figure out the proper location is to start the vehicle and press the brake pedal all the way down. This will get the pulley mount and quick connect as close to each other as possible. In this video, I had to move the quick connect up a little from the original location I thought I was going to mount it. This is why it's important to mount the brake pulley mount first and use it to help determine the best location for the quick connect. We are going to mount the quick connects onto the firewall. First, we'll mark the location of our quick connect mounting holes using a marker. Step 6. Next, we will use a 5/32 drill bit or smaller to pre-drill our hole locations, making sure not to punch the drill through. We don't want to accidentally drill through a hose or electrical cable behind the firewall. Carefully drill just deep enough to get through the metal. Then take a wire or paper clip and probe the hole to make sure you're not drilling into any hoses or electrical lines. You may find when you drill the hole, you'll find another layer of steel directly underneath. You can use the shorter self-tap screws to mount the quick connect and avoid drilling deeper. Step 7. I'm using the shorter self-tap screws to mount the quick connect. You want to carefully thread these in and make sure not to over-tighten them. The self-tap screws will finish cutting your pre-drill hole and then create its own thread as it fastens in. If you over-tighten the self-tap screw, you will strip the thread that it creates. If this happens, you will know because the screw just keeps spinning and it never gets tight. As a precaution, you can finish tightening these by hand until you feel they are secure. Step 8. Next, we will feed the cable back into the quick connect. Make sure the cable goes in between the two copper washers. It may be difficult to feed the cable through the back side of the quick connect because it's so close to the firewall. You can bend the cable on the other side of it by hand or use a screwdriver so it clears the firewall. Once you have the cable in the quick connect, you want to again test the alignment and make sure the pedal is moving towards the quick connect. When you are satisfied, you can begin adjusting the cable tension. If the cable is too tight, it will engage the vehicle's brake and your brake lights will always be on. If the cable is too loose or there is slack in the cable, the SAFEDRIVE pedal will not immediately engage the vehicle's brake pedal. There will be a delay. You want just a little bit of slack in the cable where you can flex it slightly without moving the vehicle's brake pedal. This will give you a good responsiveness and one-to-one feel of the SAFEDRIVE pedals and the vehicle's pedals. Note that you can rotate the pulley wheel assembly so the cable is always riding against the larger pulley wheel with the groove down the center. The pulley wheel is a guide and not designed to have the cable wrap around it by more than a few degrees. The cable should go straight through the pulley groove to the quick connect. Also, you do not want the cable running against a smaller spacer below the white pulley. Once we have the cable tension dialed in, we can tighten the cable in the quick connect. Step 9. Now you are going to install the gas pedal pulley mount. Because of the wide variety of gas pedal designs, your kit includes hardware for an optional installation method. For this installation, the optional kit is not needed. We will be using the attached pulley mount as shown. Begin by unscrewing one of the two long black bolts and sandwiching the top of the vehicle's gas pedal between the two bracket plates as shown. The optimal installation is to have the pulley mount to the right side of the gas pedal. If there is insufficient clearance on the right side, flip it over so the cable is on the left. Try to adjust it so the cable does not interfere with the driver's foot passing between the gas and brake pedal. Snug down the bolts, but do not make a final tight fit as it may need minor adjustments later. Press the gas pedal and make sure it has free range of motion. If there are obstructions interfering with your installation, you may need to use the optional gas pedal kit. Move the vehicle's gas pedal down and observe the direction of travel and height of the white plastic pulley on the pulley mount. Position the quick connect behind and at the same height of the pulley. This is very similar to the installation of the brake pedal pulley mount. If there is an obstruction preventing the quick connect from being mounted in the direct line with the pulley mount, it is okay to move the install location up a little or a little left or right. The straighter the cable goes between the pulley mount and the quick connect, the more responsive the feel. When pressing the gas pedal to the floor, make sure it does not hit the quick connect. Step 10. Once you've selected the location for the quick connect, mark your holes for pre-drilling. Use a 5/32 drill bit or smaller to pre-drill your hole. Remember to just breach the surface. Put some tape on your drill bit to prevent the drill from plunging through the hole. Probe the hole with a small wire to make sure you're not drilling into hoses or electrical lines. Step 11. Screw down the quick connect using the appropriately sized self-tap screws. Remember not to over-tighten the self-tap screws. Step 12. Next we will feed the cable through the hole in the quick connect, just like before, making sure it goes in between the two copper washers. Adjust the slack as before and make sure it is not loose or too tight. You can also adjust the pulley wheel assembly if you had to mount the quick connect slightly to the left or right, making sure the cable is always riding inside the groove of the pulley wheel. Again, the pulley acts as a guide. It is not designed to have the cable wrap around it. Lastly, tighten down the nut on the quick connect to secure the cable. Again, do not over tighten this nut. Step 13. We tightened everything down and replaced the carpeting. Small slits were cut in the carpet to expose the quick connects. If the cables are dangling down, use the included zip ties to tie them up and out of the way. If you do use zip ties to tie the black cable conduits, do not tie them tightly. The cables, as you can see here, need to move up and down with the pedals. If you tie the cable tightly under the footwell, they will not move and you will not be able to press the pedal. Make sure there are no sharp bends in the black cables, which will make it difficult for the steel cable to move through them. Start the car and press the brake and gas pedals on the passenger side and observe the movement of the pedals on the right. Step 14. Before mounting the SAFEDRIVE Pro Plus pedals into the floor, check with the owner of the SAFEDRIVE pedals and find the most comfortable position for the pedals. Have the user sit in the passenger seat and adjust the seat forward or backwards as necessary and operate the pedals. Then, mark the location. Prior to physically installing the pedals to the floor, we recommend pulling back the carpet to expose the firewall. We want to be sure we're not drilling in any cables, hoses, or if this is an electric vehicle or hybrid, any battery packs. Once you have identified the installation location, you can mount the pedals into the floor using self-tap screws. There are various lengths provided, and some vehicles have very thick carpet and foam padding between the carpet. You do not necessarily need to leave the carpet pulled back to mount the pedals in most situations. You can mount the pedals on top of the carpet and using the longer self-tap screws to drill through the carpet to the metal floor of the vehicle. You will just sandwich the carpet in between the base of the SAFEDRIVE pedals and the metal floor of the vehicle. T-Mount. SAFEDRIVE offers another product called the T-Mount. This product allows you to mount the pedals on the passenger side without having to drill holes through the floorboard. Using the T-Mount speeds up the installation and in some cases is necessary, as the floorboards may contain electronics or battery packs for electric vehicles. Here we are looking at the passenger side seat from the front. Your passenger seat will need to connect to the floor of the car in a way that is similar to this example. Note the bolts holding the seat to the floor. These bolts are used to anchor the top of the T-Mount to the floor, and then another bar will attach the pedals to this mounting point. The T-Mount bars are thick enough to provide a stable connection, but thin enough to allow you to add custom bends. In this installation, the floor is relatively flat and will only require minor adjustments to the T-Mount bars. Some will require straightening out the factory installed bends and bending the bars in new locations for a custom fit. First, remove the front bolts holding the passenger seat to the floor. Locate the two T-Mount flat bars that are identical. If you visualize the capital letter T, these two bars make up the top of the T. Slide the end of the flat bar with the hole underneath each seat attachment where the bolt was located. Replace the seat bolt, making sure the seat bolt goes through the hole in the end of the flat bar. Lastly, hand tighten the seat bolt to hold everything in place. Once you have the two flat bars in place, slide the base of the T-bar, which looks like the letter T with a bend in it underneath both the flat bars. The T-bar has threaded holes in it to accept the machine screws. Make sure you place the locking washer on the screw first, then the larger fender washer securely fastened to the screw. Or if you plan to make adjustments to the location of your pedal, you can use the star knobs provided. Tighten this down using the included Allen wrench. Now we are mounting the bottom of the T-mount to the pedal itself. Note that the T-mount is designed to use the SAFEDRIVE Pro and the SAFEDRIVE Pro Plus pedal kits. You can attach the slant bar on either the right or left side of the pedal. In this video, we are installing it to the right side of the pedal. Slide the slant bar under the pedal and attach it using the washers and the machine screws provided. Tighten this connection with an Allen wrench. Next, we will attach the slant bar, which we just attached to the pedal, to the T-bar. Slide the slant bar under the T-bar and position the pedal forward or backwards as necessary. Once satisfied with the location, use the machine screws to tighten the two bars together. Tighten everything down, including the seat bolts. We are now ready for final testing. Final testing. Turn off the vehicle. Press the brake pedal and gas pedal on the passenger side and note how the vehicle's brake and gas pedal perform. With the car turned off, the brake pedal will not fully depress. This is normal. However, pressing on the SAFEDRIVE brake pedal hard will be a good test to stress the installation. Press the gas pedal on the passenger side and again, observe the movement of the vehicle's gas pedal. The vehicle's pedal should move along with the SAFEDRIVE pedal. If you are pressing the SAFEDRIVE pedal and the vehicle's pedal is not immediately moving, you likely have too much slack in the cable between the pulley mount and quick connect and the adjustment is necessary. If everything appears to be operating normally and nothing has slipped out of position, start the car and test it again. If the engine is racing, immediately turn off the car. The gas pedal's cable connection to the pulley mount is likely too tight and will need to be loosened. Also, check the vehicle's brake lights and make sure they are not lit. If they are lit, the cable attached to the brake pedal's quick connect is likely too tight and needs to be loosened. Or the black conduit cables may be zip tied too tightly. Finally, road test the vehicle in a safe location with the driver in the driver's seat while the pedals are operated from the passenger side. Again, simulate an emergency stop and stress the installation.